Welcome back to Mind Pump TV. I'm your host, Adam Schafer. We are continuing on this butt series. Now I have an exercise for you guys that's traditionally used to develop or strengthen your quads, but is a great one for your butt if we make a slight modification to this. So we are going to get into the elevated lunge. All right, we're going to start with your guys' starting position and your guys' posture. So when you start off on the elevated lunge, typically I use something that I can stack a couple weights, or if you have a really low step, 3 to 6 inches is typically enough for most people, but it really depends on your mobility and your ability to get that deep into like a squatted position. Because really a lunge, when you look at it and you break down a lunge really is just a single leg squat. I mean, if you were to just bring the other foot up here, I'm just in a squatted position. I'm just focusing on one leg at a time. Now, the difference between doing a regular lunge and an elevated is we are going to incorporate more of the butt, more of the glutes by bringing the leg up. The reason, if you look at it, the reason why that is so if you notice the bend in my knee, I'm at about 90 degrees. So if I was squatting, this would be just like a 90 degree or a parallel squat, which is still a lot of quad, so very quad dominant. Now, the moment that I lift this up, now I get more of my glutes. So it's a much deeper squat or a deeper lunge in this case. So now more of my glutes are involved. Now, when you start off in this, I tell my clients to start from the position of the ground first. And the reason why that is a common mistake when people do this is they start with this trail leg too far back. And then they're pulling and they're stretching on the hip flexor. And so they feel it more in the trail leg than they do in the lead leg like they're supposed to. So you want to bring that knee real close to where you can sit up tall and straight and it doesn't feel like it's pulling on your hip flexor. So if it's not pulling here, you feel very comfortable to sit in this position. This is where, so notice where my foot is. That's my starting position. That's where I come back to. So now I know I'm in the right distance from the step to get started. All right, now that we have your starting position, let's go into the movement. Now from here, I'm going to step forward and decelerate into the lunge, and then I drive off the heel and the butt. So I'm thinking about pushing through my heel and my butt to come back, slowly decelerate into it, push off the heel and the butt, keeping that good posture. Notice my chest is up tall and straight, good posture, drive off the heel and butt, come back. When you come into this, another common mistake I see is people just drop into it and collapse. You want to use the glutes to decelerate the movement. So as you come in and you go to your lunge, think about slowing that movement down with the butt and then again driving off of it as you push out of it. So I slow it down as I come into it, drive off of it. So your tempo as you come in, this movement should take about 4 seconds to get down and then push off hard. That should take about 1 second. So decelerate in, nice and slow and controlled, concentrate on decelerating with the butt, drive off the heel and butt, come back out of it. All right, now let's talk about some common mistakes that people make and how you know you're doing this exercise wrong or right. Well, you know you're doing the exercise right if you feel it primarily in your butt and in your quads. It's totally normal still to feel this in your quads. The quads are activated and they are working here. So if you do feel it there, totally fine. We're just trying to drive more of that off the glutes. So you got to mentally focus on that when you're in the exercise. Now, how do you know you're doing it wrong? And probably the most common mistake is the hip flexor. So this is also why I want you to start down here, because all it takes is for this trail leg right here to be back a little bit right here, and then you're already starting to pull and stretch the hip flexors. And it's common that we already have really tight hip flexors because we sit so much, and most people suffer from what's called lower cross syndrome, which are these really overactive, tight hip flexors. So we actually did a video to help you guys deactivate your hip flexor. So if you're still feeling a lot of this in the hip flexor, no matter all the tips and cues that I'm giving you, if you're still feeling it there, you probably need to address those overactive hip flexors, work on that first, and then progress to this movement later. But one of the things that will help is by bringing that knee closer, that trail knee up closer towards the knee that's being worked, or the leg that's being worked on this side, and being able to posture up. You should be able to sit up in this position very comfortably and not feel any pulling or stretching anywhere. Another common mistake is as people drive up, the knee wants to collapse in. That's really common. It's due to a weak glute med. That glute med's responsible for helping keeping that knee out. So if you go to push up, you'll see this collapse of the knee as you come in. And if it collapses like that, now all of a sudden the femur rotates and more of the emphasis gets put on the quad. So helping push the knee out when you drive up, this will help keep it in the butt. So as I drive off the heel and I push back, I want to think about keeping the knee out and open. You don't want to do it to where you exaggerate it so much where you roll off, but the most common thing that you will see is the collapsing of the knee in. You keeping it neutral or thinking about pushing it out a little bit will help keep it in the butt when you guys do this exercise. All right, hopefully that video helped you guys out. Listen, if you guys liked that video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Also, turn on the notifications. We're dropping videos every other day on this channel. Also, if you want more information regarding on how to build your butt, we have a free guide. All you have to do is click the link above.